For most people, Leo Sharp was just a kind old man all his life. A World War II veteran. A man who grew flowers, attended exhibitions, and could talk for hours about roses. His plants had decorated the White House. He was well known in the professional community. People shook his hand and took photos with him. He looked like the last person on Earth you'd suspect of anything dark. But when Leo turned 87, it turned out that flowers were only part of his life. The real money he made as a courier for a Mexican drug cartel. In the criminal world, he was known by the nickname Tata Grandpa. You're on Paradoria. Enjoy watching. Sharp's story became widely known after the release of Clint Eastwood's film. On screen, everything looks almost like a fairy tale. An old man accidentally stumbles into the world of crime, transports illicit substances, then repents, realizes the value of family, and makes a dramatic exit. In reality, everything was far more complicated and far colder. Leo Sharp was born in 1924 in the United States. He served in the Army during World War II. There aren't many details, but it's known that after the war he had hearing problems, possibly due to artillery, possibly due to concussions. After being discharged, he didn't go into business or politics. He chose flowers. Roses became his passion. Over time, he established a farm in Indiana. He developed about 180 varieties that were officially registered. He was a familiar face at all relevant exhibitions. He traveled around the country, selling plants and chatting with others who were just as passionate about their craft. To many, he was almost a legend. In the 1980s, he even participated in supplying plants for the White House. At the time, it seemed he had made it. A peaceful old age, a respected name, and a beloved vocation. But in the 1990s, everything began to fall apart. Paper catalogs stopped working. The internet killed the old sales system. Orders dwindled. Income shrank. The farm no longer brought in the same money. That's when Mexicans who had worked on his farm for many years reappeared in his life. Leo didn't just silently let them go. He honestly told them business was bad, that soon he might not be able to pay them. And that's when the chain of events began that would lead him to federal prison several years later. The workers said they knew people who valued honesty, reliability, and old-school types, people like Leo. At first, the conversations were cautious. Then concrete offers began to emerge. Not right away, not bluntly, gradually. Cartels never just pick up people off the street. They vet them, they watch, they observe. And Leo Sharp turned out to be the perfect candidate. A white retiree, a war veteran, with no criminal record, no tattoos, a clean background, driving a car with veteran license plates. He aroused no suspicion at all. At first, they didn't trust him with major shipments. Then they began increasing the volumes. Over time, he became one of the most reliable couriers in the region. Unlike in the movies, in real life, couriers rarely know where the warehouses are. They leave their car in a parking lot, walk away, come back, and the vehicle is already loaded. But it was different with Leo. They trusted him more. He had access to the warehouses. He transported not only drugs, but also cash. That was a very high level of trust. The investigation later established that he had worked for the cartel for at least 10 years. During that time, he delivered hundreds of kilograms of illicit substances across the country. In some months, more than 200 kilograms. For each kilogram, he earned about $1,000, at least $2 million per year. Meanwhile, he kept attending flower exhibitions, smiling at his colleagues, discussing plant varieties. He lived a double life in which one thing didn't interfere with the other. Problems began in 2010, when DEA agent Jeff Moore got a key informant, an accountant named Ramos who handled the Detroit cell of the cartel. Ramos feared for his life and wanted to enter the witness protection program. To do so, he needed to give the investigators something truly valuable. He handed over accounting ledgers, codes, contacts, and information about shipments, including details about the courier known as Tata. For months, agents gathered evidence, wiretaps, surveillance, records. No rush. Nobody wanted the case to fall apart in court. By the time of his arrest, they knew almost everything about Leo. The arrest took place in 2011 on a highway, a routine traffic stop. An elderly man in a plaid shirt, disheveled hair, and unsteady gait. He spent a long time searching for his documents, kept getting confused, and clearly grew nervous. It was obvious he was scared. When the police dog arrived, the pulse in his neck visibly throbbed. Something later noted in the official reports. In the trunk, officers found 5 sports bags. Inside, 104 kilograms of illicit substances. At that moment, his carefully crafted legend collapsed. At trial, the defense attempted to build their case around dementia, his advanced age, and alleged coercion by the cartel. They pretended he had trouble hearing, understanding, and orienting himself, but the prosecution had photographs, recorded conversations, and evidence of direct contact with cartel leadership. It was clear. This was no naive grandfather. This was an experienced courier with years of service. In the end, he pleaded guilty, very quietly, without emotion. Then he suggested to the judge that he pay a fine and move to Hawaii to grow papayas. The judge refused. Leo Sharp was sentenced to 3 years in federal prison. Given his age, it was a relatively lenient sentence. His farm was not confiscated. He served less than 2 years and was released due to health concerns. He died in 2016 at the age of 92. His roses are still sold today. His cultivars are still highly valued. In horticultural circles, his name is still spoken with respect. And therein lies a strange paradox. The man who spent decades transporting drugs, destroying other people's lives, is remembered as a talented plant breeder and a kind old man. Almost no one recalls his other side. Leo Sharp's story is not about chance, nor is it about poverty. It is a story about choice, about how a man with a clean record and a good reputation consciously lived a double life for years. It is also a story about how the most dangerous people sometimes look like someone who just needs help carrying a bag. Thank you for watching this video to the end. Please like, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts about this story in the comments.